I would like to call to order and welcome everyone to the August 15th, 2024 City of Highland Parks meeting for the Zoning Board of Appeals. Patrick, will you please call the roll?
Chase. Member Trushansky.
Here.
Member Beck.
Here.
Member Zaransky. Member Coulter.
Here.
And Vice Chair Yablon.
Here.
Chair Beck. And then Member Chase just walked in.
Sorry, I'm late.
You're good. So Eric Chase is also present. So we have a quorum.
Excellent. The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes for the July 15th meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Okay. I know that I have a correction. It says that I was going to be absent at today's meeting, and I'm going to be absent at September 5th meeting because it's the Highland Park High School open house. Does anyone else need to correct anything or? Okay. And with that in
I'll
mind,
move that we adopt the minutes as drafted.
Member Beck will second.
okay. So all those in favor of approving the minutes of the July 15th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
And do either of you want to stipulate that you watched
Yeah.
the meeting or?
Sure. I watched the meeting and then I subsequently reviewed the minutes.
I also watched the meeting and
And do we have any business from the public this evening? No. So that moves us to old business, which is for tree-2024-00767, located at 953 Judson Avenue, zoning district R6. We have the appellants, Dean and Leslie Bradshaw, who are the petitioners and owners, and they are requesting by authority of section 94.407 of the Highland Park Code as amended for a tree removal permit for a heritage tree to remove one heritage tree, a 36-inch white oak located on the subject property. Patrick, I know you had slides before. Do you have something to go over? Or?
Yeah, I'll do. The applicant submitted a couple new things, and I'll just do a quick refresher.
Fantastic.
So yes, this item was continued from the July 18th meeting. The applicant, Dean and Leslie Bradshaw, is to remove one heritage tree, a 36 white oak. Again, here's the property located in the neighborhood, an aerial of that, the approximate location of said tree, and some property pictures to remind where the tree is. And yep, these are previous photos, and then these are some new photos just taken so you can kind of see underneath the deck. Another establishing photo. Looking north. And a zoom in of it where it matches to the deck. So just a reminder, the applicant submitted a certified arborist memo detailing that the tree was in good health, but additionally that arborist stated that they anticipate the growth ring for the tree to grow incrementally a half an inch every year, just for knowledge of the tree is continually growing and will eventually get closer and closer to the structure. Again, forestry does not support this. They supplied their memo. None of the materials that the applicant submitted brought up really any new points to forestry, so their previous memo was still sufficient to cover all the information. And we received no other comments. So yeah, the application is to remove one heritage tree, a 36-inch white oak, and I asked the board to use the Chapter 94 standards of approval.
Thank you, Patrick. Would your team like to speak?
You want to swear us all in? Or?
The Bradshaws have already been sworn in
Okay,
last
great.
time, so they should be good, but since you were not sworn in, I do need to swear you in. And also to ask you to potentially check in. So they're instituting a new check-in policy. If you testify, you must provide your information, name, address, and case to receive a follow-up of the case results.
Great.
Okay, we're good? Okay. So in that case, do you affirm that the testimony you intend to provide this evening is true and complete to the very best of your knowledge?
I do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Did you state your name?
Matthew Kerouac.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay. Kerouac. Matthew Kerouac, Architect Limited, Lake Bluff, Illinois. Do you have to, I did a site plan. More of a, I did a plan of the deck and the tree. Great. So I'm an architect. I worked with the Bradshaws on an addition to their residence 8 years ago. Not quite sure. Time's flying by. But so they called me after the first ZBA hearing to say we have a situation where we have this tree, which I've noticed before, but that is encroaching on this rear landing off their back door. And came in front of the board, and there were some issues, and they asked me if I could come visit the site, do some measurements, and then come here and just give my opinion and any solutions possible to this. This is my first time dealing with the tree in a zoning board, so I'm sure it might be the same for you in this kind of situation. So right now, the tree is located 3 feet 3 from the existing residence. And we do see a future growth from Davy, the arborist, of, like I said, a half inch. And that's going to push at some point the tree at least 2'10" towards the residence, which is not going to allow for a code compliant stair and landing to the residence. Right now, what has happened is the tree has pushed the deck boards into the stucco. They've had to notch out, since they lived there, notch out the decking. And it's just going to be a continuing issue. If they go to build now, in 3 more years, they're going to have to rip out, build again. And it's just going to be chasing a problem for the next 10 to 15 years. So we're trying to find a way to resolve this issue. Of course, we would all want to save the tree if we could. But it's a tree that was just located, when they built the house, just either not planning for what the situation is going to become. But we're asking for relief from the code in removing this tree so that they are allowed to have a typical and building standard pathway out the house to the backyard. If it's not granted, they're going to be minimizing that walkway at some point where it's not going to be a usable passageway to the back door. And I don't see another, you can't route the stair in the other direction towards the house. There's just not enough room to come up with a secondary exit or pathway out and stairs down from that back door. That's all I have right now. I'm willing for any questions.
Questions?
Are the
And you may or may not be involved in this piece. I
Yeah.
understand. So
Sure.
your clients, is the plan to remove the tree and the stairs and then replace the stairs with code compliant stairs?
Yeah, the whole, in one of the pictures you saw that the stringers were pushed diagonally, from the tree. I mean, this tree's just creating havoc on the house. And whatever we do is just going to become a tenuous situation that they're going to have to deal with for the lifetime that they're spending in the residence.
And there is an existing door there,
Everything is existing, yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah.
And there is no practical place, and should I be using practical or practicable? To get into one of those debates, to relocate the door to a different space, I'm presuming.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Because
all.
we're not seeing it from the inside, we're only seeing
it's
it from the outside.
Yeah, and they could answer that also, but, it's an established home with
Yes.
cabinetry and all that. Yeah,
So the only way to get this entrance to current code compliance is to remove the tree and replace the stairs.
that's correct, yeah. And this isn't the worst condition. If we knew that this was the worst condition, but it's just going to be ongoing. If we built to the tree right now, again, which wouldn't be in total compliance, in 3 years, it would be pushing those boards in and we'd have to rebuild. Another 3 years, whatever that growth pattern is.
There were questions by several of my colleagues, at least one of my colleagues, I believe, and it may have been me, about building the landing, or if you could call it a deck, I guess, because the structure around the tree. From your perspective as an architect, would that be feasible?
Well, what it's doing is still creating, you would have to almost wrap the tree with a railing at some point, because that, again, is going to be pushing that back. And at some point, you're creating the circuitous route around. I mean, I'm not going to say you couldn't, but it's a very atypical, and that tree is just going to be surrounded by construction that's not, I don't see how you take into account that growth of that tree without creating a, 1 foot diameter hole around it with your new deck, and then try to, circumnavigate around it with a new deck pathway. Just, it's going to be an ongoing issue, unless it's resolved one way or another.
Thank you, I have nothing else.
Okay, I had a question, which is, what if the stairs came out the other way? Like, instead of having to be, a straight shot out the door.
Right. Could you go to that view, like looking north, please? Yeah, there. Again, I would probably have to let the homeowner speak on that as a solution that they would be wanting to live with. But I guess you could, there could be something built somewhere, but you have utilities back there. I guess you could force circulation around the back of it. It's a pretty heroic design to create that successfully with looking at where the tree is to the entrance. I mean, it's right at the edge of that door. So no matter what, that tree's always going to be at the door. It's not so much just at the walkway, but it's at the door, and it's just going to keep encroaching towards that door.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just to confirm, that's the back door, right? It's not the front.
That's the back door, correct? Yeah. Yeah, it's the only door to the back of the house and it's a primary. From the garage is a detached in the rear. So it's their primary entrance. You can kind of see on the left picture in the back, on the left side of that left picture, the detached garage. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Bradshaw, do either of you? If you could just come to the microphone and just that you were sworn in and at the last meeting, and so you are still officially sworn in as you speak.
You want me to say that?
No, I said it.
okay.
We're good.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not up on all the dealings here. So yeah, I just, part of what Matt was kind of referring to, right, is the forester had said last time that he thought the tree was finished growing, even though I had said that the arborist had said it was still growing. So that's why we had written back to the arborist and asked if he could please provide, in writing, kind of whether or not the tree was growing and that it would be continuing to grow. In addition, what you can't probably see from some of these pictures is that the door right now to the back door, if you open it up, it hits the tree. So even if you move the stairs around, the door is still going to hit the tree when you open the door. So, it would be incredibly difficult to make it go around the other way, but you'd still have the problem where the door hits the tree. So, and again, since it is going to continue growing, in the one picture, can you go to the one where not? So that picture wasn't there last time, so you can see that we've already had to go in there and literally take a saw and saw the deck in order to, have it stop crushing our house. So we'll have to keep sawing that, right? Every few years. And now you can see it's already pushing into where we had already notched, because that was a couple years ago. So anyway. Yeah, so we also had said in our note back to you guys that, you guys were welcome to come and take a look at things in groups. Sometimes it's hard to really visualize the situation somebody's living with unless you actually go and visit it. So I don't know if any of you can.
Unfortunately, we've been advised by corporate counsel that we're not supposed to do drive-bys. So if everyone's following the rules, then no one did that. Just to give you the heads up.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I don't know this code. So anyway, that's all I just kind of wanted to.
Okay, oh, wait. I know I have a question. Based on the drawings, it looks like the door opens inward, but it doesn't?
The screen door opens out and the regular door opens in.
Got it. Does anyone else have any questions?
You just indicated that the door hits the tree. I'm trying to see, is there a branch there's not a branch that direction. And if the door hit the tree, then it would also hit your railing.
Well, I'm sorry. It's the door is hitting the railing. Sorry.
Okay,
Because it's pushing in. I'm sorry.
no problem. Thank you.
I have a question, but I'm not sure I'm directing it to the right person. Last week, I thought that the city arborist said that the tree would be growing much slower because of its just general size. But it is the arborist, you had an independent arborist who said gave the rate of, where did that rate of growth come from, the number?
The arborist. So we were required through your zoning committee to hire an arborist to come out, and that's the arborist's growth pattern. He put it in an email, and you guys should have that email.
And I apologize, half an inch per year for how long, did they say?
5 to 10 years.
And that's a half an inch, probably in circumference.
Yeah, it's in diameter.
It's in diameter, so it's only a fraction of a half an inch.
It's a quarter.
It's a quarter of an inch in that direction.
Thank you. And it doesn't seem like there's anyone else from the public who would like to speak, since there is no public. Can I ask one of my colleagues to do math for me? What would that mean if it grew on one side So it would be a 1/4 inch times,
Every 4 years it would grow an inch.
okay, so we're talking potentially 2.5 inches then if,
In 6 years.
Yeah, and I've read up on, first time I had to read up on growth patterns of white oak trees. And there is a whole formula. So I would have to say that, you have foresters saying no growth. You have the arborist saying a 1/2 inch. It is kind of but it is growing. I mean, you saw from where they moved in, it's still growing. So I know your forester is incorrect, respectfully, because the tree's still growing. There's no predicting exactly when's it going to stop growing. I mean, it's nature. Nobody really knows how old this tree is unless you do a whole thing. So if we're kind of arguing about 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch, we may be chasing down a wrong formula. The thing is that it's still growing. We don't know when it's going to stop growing, but we know that every time it grows, it's impeding on the house, and whatever we build, will be disrupted by that growth pattern. So.
thank you. Does anyone else? For the echelon? No?
Only because I just read the standard again, so it popped up. Can you refresh a memory on the addition? Is that an addition on the back of the house that the door comes out of? No, that was part of the original house? Okay. That answers my question.
Thank you. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Sorry. Member Chase, would you like to kick off the discussion?
Oh, gosh, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm interjecting for a second. Do you mind moving your mic a little closer?
Sorry.
Oh, good.
There we go. This is difficult. On the one hand, we have this beautiful, I don't think no one's questioning whether this is a heritage tree. And it's a beautiful tree, and I know that at the last hearing, it's been well cared for, it's healthy. And I guess I'm looking at the standards. I guess the question I'm wrestling with is if the hardship standard has been met. And I guess I'm just curious, I wanted to throw it out if my colleagues have any thoughts about that. That's my big question.
Chair.
Here. Sorry.
Should I answer that? Should I throw it to you?
You can throw it.
Okay.
Okay. The reason I just asked the question to the applicant regarding what looks like it could have been an addition on the back of the house, but is apparently part of the original house, is that they did not create the situation. If they had put that structure on, then one might be able to argue they created the situation, but I do not believe they have, because it predates their ownership.
Right. And I think at the last meeting, the tree came, we think the tree is older than the house.
Yes.
Correct. But both have been there a long.
Yes.
Well, we're having an informal discussion. The one that's getting me, if people want to discuss, is the no practicable alternatives from letter D. Because that's the word that always gets us.
Oh, the practicable.
Yep, that, practical equals sensible. Practicable is possible. Just bring that up there.
Based on what we've heard, I do not believe there is a practicable alternative short of moving that door. And I don't think that is reasonable, choosing my words carefully, of this board to require them having a true exit to their house, a usable exit.
And Member Chase, back to you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it. That's what I'm still grappling.
Since you've already done some chatting, Member Coulter, what?
Thank
anything else
you.
to add?
I'm going to do 180 from where I was at the last meeting. I want to thank you for bringing the architect in. That clarified a lot in my mind. In that I am of the opinion now that the standards have been met, both the 5 mandatory and the selective findings. In that this is a beautiful tree. You know, you remember growing up in the yard with this tree and probably climbing it at some point when it was smaller and you were younger. But I do believe it impinges on the structure. And I am generally a defender of trees. So it is, you know, sort of hard to reconcile. But I think the fact that you have attempted to, you have notched out parts of the staircase and it is now pushing up against that, that the best alternative, although probably not appreciated by everyone, is to remove the tree so that it doesn't further damage either the staircase or the physical structure of the house. So with that, I would vote to adopt the permission to remove the tree.
Thank you. Member Trupansky.
I agree with my colleague, and I'll just add that that the photograph that you included demonstrating the tree pushing up against the deck even after a part of the landing was notched out was, I think, really swayed me. So I'm in favor of removing the tree.
Member Beck.
I'm not changing my opinion from last time. I was in favor of it last time. I think all the standards were met. If you read through them carefully, you know, there's a hardship. There's no practical alternative without forcing them to cut another hole in their house to have an exit on the opposite side. The hardship is there. The tree's big and it's growing, and you know, you're not going to move the house. So, you know, what's your alternative? So I'm in favor of this. I do think you need to remind them that we only have 5 members and what votes they need.
I have also shifted my opinion that I think that the possible alternatives really don't exist. So with that in mind, I would be in favor of removing the tree. As Member Beck said, though, there are only 5 of us here and you need a vote of 4. So if you've read the room, would you like us to continue the vote or would you like us to table it?
I'm not sure where Member Chase is landing, but that's okay. I guess we'll find out. But I feel like maybe we can take an official vote on this at this hearing.
Okay.
Member Beck will move to approve the variance as written.
Member Coulter will second. I believe it's an order, not a variance.
Or fine. Correct me publicly. Shame me. Would you like to get the press in here?
No.
Okay. Patrick, with that in mind, would you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Member Chase?
Sigh. I do love the tree, but after listening to my colleagues and looking at that picture of the tree on the pushing against the deck, I would move to approve the order.
Member Trushansky,
Aye.
Member Beck,
Aye.
Member Colifer,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Yablon.
Aye. So congratulations. I don't know, congratulations, but you,
Thank you for your patience.
And we don't take pleasure in this, so you know that, but we appreciate your time. And your vote.
okay, and is there any new business? Like, no new business today? Do we have a staff report?
No.
Anything miscellaneous?
I'm just going to ask that the city council be aware that the confetti from their last meeting is still present in the chambers, and that Mr. Kane should be required to vacuum the chambers thoroughly.
Found two of them.
Oh my. That's special confetti. Was there a bachelorette party here? Did I?
No.
Okay.
Need to dwell on it. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, moving on. I think. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I'll move that we adjourn.
Rebecca, a second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. Yeah, what the hell is this? Oh.